My name is David Leonard. I'm the Midwest Regional Promotion Director for Interscope, Geffen Records, home to 50 Cent, in the G Unit, Game, Keisha Cole, Common, Mary J. Blige, Pussycat Dolls, Gwen Stefani, et cetera, et cetera. Basically, I'm the guy who's constantly bugging radio, knocking on their door to try to get our records played at radio for the artists that I mentioned a minute ago. My job involves doing a lot of research, constantly being on the phone, and basically setting up the overall picture for a record. One thing that Sidney Miller touched on earlier was about how the game has changed drastically. In the past couple of years, like the industry, especially labels, have taken a serious hit because people aren't buying albums anymore. Labels are going back to doing single-based deals with artists. That's why things like ringtones and digital downloads are what is the order of the day nowadays as far as artists are concerned. To speak on a major label versus an independent label, I would have to say independence is where it's at right now. Of course, you want the big machine behind you in order to help you get marketing dollars and promotional dollars to get a national picture going. But what the labels are doing now is going after artists who are already self-contained. Like, they already had their own airplay cracking, they got their own video cracking, they got their own street teams, and everything popping off so that they don't have to spend the money because they don't have the money to spend. They want artists who are the entire package. So like, for instance, there's a new artist that Interscope just signed named Soulja Boy. I don't know if any of you have heard the record. It's called Crank That, Soulja Boy. Cat out of the South, you know what I'm saying? He got his own record popping at radio. The label called up the radio stations, went out and sought him. Next thing you know, he's signed to the label. And that's been like the order of the day for a lot of new artists that are out there coming, whether it be them blowing themselves up on their MySpace pages or just developing those relationships with the DJs in their market, creating that buzz to the point where the labels have a bidding war and are calling up radio like, who's this cat y'all are playing? Why aren't you playing my Jay-Z record? Why aren't you playing my 50 Cent record? Who is this, Soulja Boy cat, or who is this MC Bubble Fish Eyes cat y'all playing, on the radio?
You didn't sign him, did you?
Oh, no. He might be on the radar though. But basically going back to like us creating the whole picture, we basically set up a record, and every week record labels go for ads on records. So on like Mondays and Tuesdays, that's when radio looks to see what new records are out in the market and what they're going to add to their playlist. What we do as promotional directors is, one, we go on to a system called BDS, which is Broadcast Data Systems, and we monitor the airplay at radio to see how many times records are getting spun, which creates the chart picture. So we constantly feed people like JJ with information at radio stations that are similar to them that they look at, and we say, hey, your neighbor over here in Dayton, Ohio is playing this record 50 times, or this record is top 10 on the rhythmic monitor chart. How come you guys aren't playing this record? This is something you really need to look at. The video just got aired on TRL this Monday, or it's going into Big Ten rotation at MTV, or 106 in Park is going to debut it on such and such day. We're constantly inundating them with information in order to entice them to play our records, because we want that coveted #1 spot. Whether that be the #1 most added record for the week, whether it be the #1 record on the Billboard chart. So we have to constantly do our research, be on top of our game in order to communicate to radio what the overall picture of not just our records, but other records that are out there that they may be playing to get our record into that spot. Radio has a very limited amount of space to put new records in, so you really have to have your game up in order to get that coveted spot on that radio station's playlist nowadays. The other thing we do is we set up promotional activities for the artists when they come through the market. I cover markets. I'm based in Chicago, so of course I cover Chicago, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, Oklahoma, Wichita, Flint, Michigan, basically the entire Midwest region, and I cover the rhythm crossover format of radio, which is like B96, which Summer mentioned earlier, which is rhythm crossover is like radio that's imaging and programming is sort of geared towards more of a Latin and white audience, but they play hip-hop and R&B with some, Britney Spears or Justin Timberlake thrown in there here and there. So what I do is when we get our artist schedule and we find out, hey, Keisha Cole is going to be in Indianapolis on such and such day, we contact the radio station and then we begin setting up different promotional opportunities for the artists. I see my girl Ladina in here from Scoop Magazine. I'll call Ladina and say, hey, it's the league now? Oh, okay, y'all done switched it up, okay. But I'll call Ladina and say, hey, I got Keisha Cole coming through the market. Do you guys want to do an interview? I'll call JJ and say, hey, can we bring Keisha by the station, to be on your show to do an interview? Can we do a meet and greet with listeners at the station so they can come and, meet Keisha, maybe hear the new album? All of that's creating the overall picture for that artist's upcoming project so that by the time it does hit the stores, people are familiar with the artist, they're familiar with the music, and that makes them actually want to go out and buy and support that artist.